welcome to Dead House. So far, this is my favorite. It's like a typical horror formula, but I like that about it. This is with Josh and Amanda and their parents. And her dad got a letter about a random uncle who died and he inherited his house. But the dad doesn't remember who he is and the mom doesn't know who he is, but who cares because it's a free house and it's huge. And now the dad can quit his job and he can focus on writing, which gave me like R.L. Stine vibes. So they decide to take it. But remember how I said R.L. Stine leaves breadcrumbs. So for the first one he left that I was like, that's gonna mean something. They can't seem to sell their house, but they move anyways, hoping that it'll sell when they're at the new house. So that is important to remember. They get there, and of course, again, we have the younger brother, Josh. He's like, I don't like this. He's whining and complaining about it. They also have a dog who also seems to hate the house, and he hates Mr. Dawes, who is the realtor, and he barks at him a lot, and normally he's really well behaved and loves everyone. And people should trust animals more. Like, they can just sense bad things. We start to experience things mostly through Amanda. She keeps thinking she sees ghosts upstairs. She thought she saw a little boy through the window. She thought she saw a girl in the hallway. And then in her room, like I was reading this 2 nights ago, before bed, it's just like, no, this can't be happening right now. She's in bed and she's hearing like whispers and giggles in her room, but no one's in there. And then her room starts to feel incredibly cold. And if you know anything about ghosts, they create a cold atmosphere. So I'm just like, no, this is all bad. And then her curtain starts billowing, like there's a breeze. She hears like whispers and giggles from the curtain. First, she like pulls her covers up and she's like, no, not dealing with this. And then it keeps happening. So she's like, okay, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm seeing things. So she decides, oh, and she thinks maybe the window's open. That's why it's cold. That's why the curtain's blowing. She gets up out of bed, walks over to the window, and the window's closed, you guys. Oh, and then the curtain starts billowing again. And then she just like runs into bed. She tries to tell her parents. And again, we have the mom who's like, I don't want to hear this. Leave me alone. And again, the dad also kind of puts her down and he's like, you're just imagining things. You're just stressing yourself out. And I'm like, you guys, maybe you should actually like play into the fact that something could be happening. We have parents, once again, who are not believing the kids, which totally fine with because it kind of fits into like the horror genre that R.L. Stine does, which is the parents never believe the kids. But I just wish for this one they would because it's really important. And then there's other breadcrumbs that R.L. Stine leaves. There's one specific that he puts in the book in different ways with different characters to try and hint. And it's essentially like how to defeat, again, these baddies. I think it was like the second or third time he dropped it that I was like, okay, I see what you're putting down, Stine. So I was hoping okay, so this is a dead house, but it's more like a trap house. There are ghosts in it, but it's more about the town and what the town wants from them, but this is kind of like trap. It's like an entryway. I think the title is still fitting, and again, it's my favorite one. I think specifically because I love haunted houses. I love that the town is called Dead Falls, and there's a creepy cemetery. Dog warning. It doesn't end up good for the dog, but we don't see it. We just discover it. So I'm putting that out there, which is a spoiler, but I know some people can be sensitive to those types of things. So I just want to make sure you know. I think that had the most no's. Like, have any of you seen The Conjuring? Oh, in the scene where the two sisters are in the room, and she's like, what are you staring at? And she's like, in the corner behind the door. And the sister's like, I don't see it. And she goes up and stands at the door, and she's like, it's breathing right next to you. And then the door like slams shut. Like, I'm not okay. I'm not okay with those things, but I also they're like my favorite and I love them. So this is a good spooky one. For the next video, we're gonna do Haunted Mask. Let me know down in the comments favorite horror film is. Oh, and I hope you're having a spooktacular October.